Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a lot to talk about. This morning I was reading some news. I printed up some articles. I want to share all this with you. Please feel free to comment down below. So much knowledge in those comments. So many people read those comments, so keep the comments going. But this first article, and before we start, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep getting the message out there. Let's keep waking people up. Let's keep getting people prepared, because this is going to continue to get really bad, ladies and gentlemen. But coming from Fox Business, style, frightened Oakland restaurant owner calls city's crime epidemic worst I've ever seen. And I was watching the interview, and what a disservice we are doing to business owners, and the restaurant business is a tough business even in the best of times. It is a tough, brutal business. And now with labor cost, taxes, crime, staff shortages, you name it. And of course, the average consumer, clientele has less money. This is a brutal business. And I've seen a lot of businesses close. And there are a lot of restaurants closing in the state of California. And this is really, really sad to see, people who've been in business for a number of years lose it all. And they're not getting any help. But this gentleman says it's scary to just walk down the street. Why is nothing being done, ladies and gentlemen? Why is this being allowed? Why are we standing by, watching our restaurants close down, our small businesses close down? Why is nothing being done? I mean, it's literally criminal that the politicians are doing nothing to protect the restaurants, the business owners, or just the average person walking down the street here in California and really across America. What do you think is going to happen to the restaurant industry in 2024? So many restaurants have gone under in the past few years. It's astonishing. How many more are going to go under in 2024, 2025? It's really sad because people work so hard. They've invested everything. They've taken chances. They've gambled it all. And you would think that the local government or your politician would be looking out for you, at least for your safety. But there's so much crime. I mean, look at what's happening up in Oakland, In-N-Out closing, not because business is bad, crime is so bad. And so many businesses have closed because the crime is so bad that they have to close. But we're seeing a lot of people, a lot of restaurant owners trying to sell their restaurants now and get out of the restaurant business. But they're getting destroyed. They're getting destroyed again by the labor costs. I mean, if you have 65 restaurants in California, if you have 65 restaurants nationally, you're going to have to pay $20 minimum wage at that restaurant here in California. But think about the smaller restaurants. They have to compete with the bigger restaurants for staff, right? Why would you go work somewhere for $16 an hour when you could get $20 an hour at McDonald's? So you've got inflation, staff shortages, prices of food going up, taxation going up, crime going up. It's literally impossible for these restaurants to survive. It's really, really sad. But let me know what you think about this. I think that we're going to see a lot more restaurants go out of business. Not just in California, but across America. What a terrible business to be in right now. God bless the people that are in the business, who are hustling, who are surviving. If you know of a good restaurant, you should be supporting it. But at some point, I get it. It's going to be a luxury just to eat a piece of meat. It's going to be a luxury just to go out to dinner, to go to lunch. It's becoming a luxury now. It's getting so expensive. Here's another one. Senior living firm Peterson Healthcare plans bankruptcy filing. Now, they run 100 nursing homes and assisted living facilities in the Midwest. They're preparing to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Labor cost, insurance costs, staff shortages, same as the restaurant business here. They're defaulting on debt. They cannot pay debt. They're in big trouble. So how many people will lose their jobs? How many people won't have a facility to live in. How sad is that? When people need assisted living, we need these facilities, and people now aren't going to have these facilities because this place is in trouble. And why can't the U.S. government break off a few $1,000,000 and help out somebody like this, but yet we're sending billions, just breaking off billions to send all over the world to other countries, but yet our assisted living facilities, our vets, the people of this great nation are struggling. Small business owners, the restaurant owners, everybody's hurting, everybody's struggling, and nobody's getting any help. But we're helping all these other countries. It's sickening. F around and find out, truckers warn. This was on The Hedge today, and this could start Monday. Has anybody heard about this? Some truckers refusing to take loads to New York. Now, could this become a bigger issue? I watched a video with a trucker, and they're refusing to go to New York. They said there's a lot of other places we can go to. We don't have to go to New York. We don't like their politics. They don't like the crime. And they can go to other places where they feel much more free, much more appreciated. And so could this become a problem? If you have enough truckers, think about literally everything is shipped by a truck. Gets off of a train, gets off of a ship. What's it go on? It goes on a truck. I mean, literally 80% of everything is shipped by a truck, if not more. Think about the power that the truckers have in this country. And if they begin to say boycott certain cities, this is literally cutting the lifeline off to many, many cities. If they go, hey, we don't like what you believe in, we don't like your politics, we don't like all your crime, we're not going to your city. This would be cutting off a huge lifeline to these cities. This could really become something really, really serious. So we'll see if people get on board with it. I don't know. What do you think? But think about the power of truckers in this country. If they decide not to go to work, we don't eat. We don't get fuel. We got big trouble. They decide to boycott, certain cities. Those people in those cities are going to be in trouble. They hold immense power. Here's another one from The Hedge today. Maryland proposes raising registration fee for pickup trucks. It's called the Pedestrian Fatality Act of 2024. Doesn't that sound nice? Like they're going to do something really, really good to save lives. And if you don't support this act, you don't support people living. You support people dying. You're rooting for people to die. If you don't support the higher fees, you're rooting for people to die. So maybe this is because they want you to drive an EV and they're going to try to do whatever they can to persuade you, force you to drive an EV. Or is it because the state of Maryland is well over $30 billion in debt and they're just going to keep trying to draw blood out of a turnip? And this is what we're going to see more of. These states are broken. They're bankrupt. You look at cities like Chicago, you look at places like California, these huge deficits, massive amounts of debt, and what do? They're gonna go and tax people. Homeowners, people that own cars, they're gonna tax your registration. Whatever they can tax, they're gonna try and tax. They're gonna raise your utilities. They just continue to squeeze as much blood out of the turnip as possible. At the worst possible time when everything costs so much money just to feed your family. And now they're talking about raising registration fees if you drive a pickup truck. And what stops them to go, well, if you drive a four-door sedan, well, guess what? We're going to have to tax you. If you drive a tiny little car or you drive an EV, you don't get taxed. But they're always finding some reason, some excuse to tax you, and they try to make it really sound nice, right? Because we're trying to save lives, and these big, scary trucks are dangerous. Here's another one today from The Hedge. Today, in commercial real estate's collapse, Philadelphia's 1515 market put into special servicing with $59.4 million left on mortgage. Acesso Partners, based in Florida, acquired this building back in 2014 for $85 million. Back in 2022, the building was only generating $4.4 million. And I'm sure that it would probably be generating a lot less today. The loan is set to mature in January 2025. has since been converted into a commercial mortgage-backed security and sold. This building today on the market would be lucky to get $35 to $40 million. There is $60 million owed on this building. This building was sold for $85 million 10 years ago, and it is worth less than half of what was paid for it. Going to see a lot more of it. How many people thought that this would ever happen in commercial real estate? Probably the same people that said, back in 2007 that home prices could go down maybe a little, but they're probably just going to go up forever. But if they go down, they'll go down for a little bit, but they would never go down 30, 40, 50%. No, that could never happen. Everything these people say that can never happen and will never happen has already happened. And it's going to happen again. And you're going to see it not just in commercial real estate, which this one's really bad, but you're going to see this without a doubt, in my personal opinion. I don't have a crystal ball, but I'm just looking at the data. I'm adding 2 plus 2, and I see big trouble for the housing market. And I think most people with a working brain, probably if they're honest with themselves, see the same problem. There's too much debt and there's too many people losing jobs, and you have too few qualified buyers, and now you're going to have an abundance of inventory coming from landlords, from these home builders, from people getting out of short-term rentals, people losing their jobs. This is going to be one for the history books, ladies and gentlemen. Here's one from the Hedge. The number one warning sign: capital controls are coming soon, and the 4 ways to beat them. Watch out for a bank holiday, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we are always told. It's always going to be a 3-day weekend. Anybody that thinks that this can't happen, they're drinking the Kool-Aid. They are certainly not educating themselves with history or the power of the system. Governments can impose an emergency tax tomorrow. They can massively devalue currency. You could see a bank bail-in. Capital controls are coming to America, yet people think it's impossible. It's unthinkable. But you better think again. It's happened throughout time, and it's just a matter of time before we see things happen here. And you could go back to when they were, trying to confiscate gold. They didn't go door to door, but they were giving you market price for it. But then after they got people's gold, they jacked up the price of the gold. Not everybody gave up their gold. They never went door to door. They never took it. They were giving market value at the time. But that's when gold actually backed the dollar. People go, well, what if they take it? What if they take gold again? Well, why would they? Now it's a barbarous relic that they say nobody wants, and it does not back the currency at this point. So I believe if they even tried to do something like that, the black market would be it would be out of this world. I can't even put a dollar amount on where gold would be if they try to confiscate it. Would it be 40,000 an ounce, 50,000, 100,000? Remember, they've been telling you and I that it's a barbarous relic. Nobody wants it. Why would you even care about it? But why would they want to come confiscate it? If that ever happens, the black market is going to be out of this world. But according to this article, you need to get ahead of this right now. And here's a couple recommendations from the article. Let me know what you think about this. I don't know if I really believe in this, but it says open a foreign bank account. That's a great idea, but maybe you can't get out of America. What if you can't get out of this country? What if something happens in that foreign country where that bank account is and they take your money? There's a lot that can happen. When you don't hold it, you don't own it. So maybe your money is safe in another country today, but as we watch this global collapse take place, will it be safe tomorrow? Buy real estate in a foreign country. It's another really nice idea, but we've seen throughout time too, governments collapse, and what do? They take people's houses, they take their real estate. But again, if you can afford to be diversified as much as you can afford to do this, maybe it's something to think about. Here's one I do like: physical gold, because you can hold it somewhere, you can hide it somewhere, you can put it somewhere. And it advises in this article, do not keep it in a safe deposit box at a bank, do not keep it in a bank vault, do not have it in the system, ladies and gentlemen. And you must own physical. Don't park your physical gold somewhere outside of where you can get to it. Third party counter risk, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very dangerous. You need to have it where you can get to it, because you don't know if some government, including ours, goes to a vault and confiscates it there, or like what happened in Beverly Hills, an investigation starts because they believe that there's some, things taking place with some bad characters, and now we're going to confiscate everything in these vaults or everything in these safe deposit boxes. So I personally would have it somewhere where you can get to. I would have it in multiple places. You could bury it under the ground. You can, have it wherever you think is a good place to keep it safe. Much safer with you putting it somewhere than just putting it in a bank vault or a safe deposit box or even a private vault, because we've seen what can happen. The last one, Bitcoin. What do you think about Bitcoin? It's been doing very, very well, but what if they just shut the power off? What if they decide to confiscate it? You cannot, if you talk about something that is really in the system now, you've got Bitcoin ETFs. Bitcoin is more in the system now than anything. So they can follow it, they can track it, they could shut the internet down, they can shut the power down, and then what good is it? But you talk about something that is really entrapped in the system now. In my opinion, Bitcoin is very entrapped in the system. It is now the system. So comment down below, let me know what you think about that. Here's another one that I thought was interesting. Shopping online at 2 a.m. That's a red flag for buy now, pay later lender affirm. Why? Because they say people that buy at 2 o'clock in the morning typically are delinquent or default. But this is what the zombies are doing, ladies and gentlemen. This is what your typical zombie is doing at 2 o'clock in the morning. They're online buying stuff with a credit card or a buy now, pay later service. And when you're buying stuff at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're probably not making the best decision. You're making a risky decision, a risky transaction if you're shopping at 2 o'clock in the morning. What the heck? I like to stay up late at night, but what in the world is somebody doing up at 2 o'clock in the morning buying stuff with a credit card or a buy now later plan? This is the zombies we're dealing with. Instead of getting a good night's sleep, instead of maybe taking on a side hustle and working late at night, people are laying in bed with their phones on, looking to what they can buy with money they don't have. This is a disaster in preparation. This is what you do not want to be doing. This is how you do not prepare for what's coming. Staying up late, not sleeping, not being productive, but spending money you don't have on garbage stuff you don't need. So again, this is what the zombies are doing after 12 o'clock, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another one from the hedge. These are expected to be the world's largest consumer markets in 2023. This I thought was really, really interesting. And this comes from World Data Lab. And they make these estimates. China is expected to have 1.1 billion consumers by 2030. That's a 15% increase from 2024. That's a big number. India, expected to have 773 million consumers. That will be a 46% increase. Indonesia, 150 million consumers, a 27% increase. Pakistan, expected to have 99 million consumers. That's a 30% increase. Bangladesh, 87 million consumers, a 59% increase. The Philippines, 66 million consumers, 35% increase. Egypt, 68 million consumers, that's a 25% increase. And the United States of America is expected to have 348 million consumers with a 4% increase. The world is getting bigger. And many people say that, well, if America isn't buying, China doesn't exist. China doesn't survive. Really? The world's getting bigger. You're going to have emerging markets that are going to grow. They're going to have more money. They're going to want more things. And where are they going to get them from? They're going to get them from places like China. And China at some point, which I know a lot of people probably can't fathom this, but at some point, China really isn't going to need America because they're going to have the rest of the world. They're going to have all these new emerging markets. They're going to have all these new economies. They're going to be using new financial systems, not the SWIFT system. They're going to be using new currencies. the world's going to change, ladies and gentlemen, and America just thinks, well, without us, the world doesn't survive. So false. The world is going to survive. The world is growing, and the world cannot wait to get off the US dollar, can't wait to get out of the SWIFT system. It can't wait for a more free market. It can't wait to use currencies maybe that are backed by something, not just printed into outer space. This is what's happening, and we should all be concerned about this because our standard of living is going to continue to fall the more and more that this takes place. The more competition that we have with currency, the more emerging markets that come to light, that are hungry to trade, but don't want the weaponized dollar. They don't want to be controlled by the U.S. and the dollar, and not just emerging markets, but major markets across the globe do not want dollars. They're getting rid of them. They don't want to be controlled. They don't want to do something wrong and then not be able to buy oil or not be able to trade or have their money stolen. So they're going to look at other options. And those options are going to come from the BRICS nations without a doubt. Now, I want to end with this last article coming from the New York Post. Sylvester Stallone had Navy SEALs train his daughters before they moved to New York City. And I thought this was interesting. I don't know really how hard the training was or how long it was or in depth it was, but every parent should be investing in their kids and in their kids' skill sets. And every parent should be investing in their skill sets. And that means that you as a parent should be able to protect your kids. You should have security. You should have combative skills, defensive skills, that if something happens or something arises, you can protect your family with specific tools, or if you have to use your hands. Do you have a jiu-jitsu background, boxing, Muay Thai, whatever it may be? You need defensive skills, ladies and gentlemen. And people always ask, what's the solution? What can I do? Well, how about this? How about instead of, going to Super Bowl parties and partying in Las Vegas and taking vacations and going out drinking on Friday, Saturday night, maybe put your kids in a jiu-jitsu class. Maybe put your kids in some sort of training so that if a event arises, they can handle themselves, that they're not going to be a victim, that they're going to be able to defend themselves. And you as a parent should be walking the walk and doing the same thing. It's shocking how many people I know are so scared to go and train. They're scared to get on a mat in jiu-jitsu and be humble. They're scared. What are you going to do in real life when something happens? It's happening every day to people. I mean, you need to get uncomfortable right now. This is the time to get uncomfortable, to humble yourselves and make sure that your kids can protect themselves and that you as an adult can protect yourselves. It's not always about just going to the gym. How much weight can I lift? How fast can I run a mile? What if somebody grabs you and knocks you down to the ground? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to survive? What if they're going to go and try and take your kid and you're on the ground? Are you in the fight? Are you going to be able to do something, or are you just going to be a victim? Be an example to your kids. Invest in your kids. Cut that garbage out. Get them into a good class in jiu-jitsu or boxing or Muay Thai, something where they're learning a skill set. And it's something that all of you should be doing too. Yes, if you're 85 years old in a wheelchair and you're not doing it, I get it. Well, then surround yourself with people who are. So many people, I'm 80 years old, I have arthritis. I get it. We're all going to be there one day. Surround yourself with people who can protect you. Surround yourself with people who are training. Surround yourself with people who are preparing. Too many excuses, ladies and gentlemen. Get off the couch. Get in shape. And it's not just about going to the gym and lifting weights. It's about having skills. Skills are the most important thing. If you bench 400 pounds, great. But do you have skills? If you're benching 300-400 pounds and you got skills, that's fantastic. But you got to have skills first. Skills override everything. Whether you're practicing with your tools or you're practicing on the mats, it's about skills. It's about skills. It's not always about how fast you are or how strong you are. It's about skills. It's about how to engage somebody who is attacking you or your kids, and training your mindset right now to get very uncomfortable with being in an uncomfortable situation. People just think it's not going to happen to them. They hope and pray that it's not going to happen to them. God gave everybody free will. And he says, you better wake up and you better know how to protect yourself and your family, because there's nothing coming out of the clouds. There's nobody jumping out of the rainbows to come save you. God gave everybody free will. It's about what you're doing today that is going to dictate tomorrow. If you are untrained today, you will be untrained tomorrow. So take today and go get trained so that when something happens tomorrow, you'll be able to deal with it. God bless every one of you. Have a great weekend. I'm going to leave it there. Pray for this nation. We got big trouble. We're not going to stop it, but we as individuals and families can prepare. God bless.